Greetings and for joining tonight's broadcast. Okay, tonight is Anunnaki Bloodlines. And Enlil seems like he wants to come through. We're going to back to Orion's again about Orion's belt. You say 5D Earth. I feel like putting 5D in there for some reason, so we got it. Let's see what else is there. Well, I tell you what I feel from Enlil. I feel stress on a couple of things. I feel he's very connected to Enki. He's like a brother energy. So, yeah, I think there's brothers through, but a DNA connection there. So I don't know the whole story, but exactly. But either way, they're all interconnected in some shape or form. So it feels like Enlil has something to say. Yeah, everybody else got some tension, but he's so quite all right. I think it's oops. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, we're gonna get started in a second. HorizonTour.com, our private sessions schedule. We're on a channel, Google Hands, Zoom channel, my phone. Yes, questions. I'm on the 8th of September. Same situation here. Have enjoyed the webinar. Well, anyway, you can check the page. You have the social network, Rabbit, and early access. Thank you for the support. Okay. And tomorrow is a mentorship. 2-hour mentorship should be interesting. So, okay. What's going on with focusing? I thought I'd fix that, but I guess not. But who cares? Oh, yeah, there's a lot of stuff here, so I have something to do with it. So, all right, blessings. Here we go. Greetings. This is Enlil. Your bloodlines are yes of a Illuminati of origins of the perfect human. A lot of it is to reconnect to your Atlantean roots, at least for your elites to connect with. So your Atlantean energies are not Atlantean bloodlines can't always be in a human body. So they mix them up to dilute it slightly. So Atlantean bloodlines can be quite potent, and yes, it can even shut down the body or cause a lot of body, ailments. So you're not healthy. Yes, many trips to the hospital, things like that. It is not an easy bloodline to carry. So their geneticists today have no idea what they're doing. But they're trying to put the right people together to have children, but it's not always. So yes, your elite spend a lot of time of who's going to marry who. They have to keep their reign going. So they don't really care about your kings and queens. They don't really matter all that much, but the elite do matter a lot. Because they're the ones running the show. So they truly put a lot into it. It's another reason why you have your soap operas on your television. It's like signals to each other. Wonder why your soap opera's there, but there's much more to it than that. There's also this is off topic, but there is a a message about baseball or sports in general. There are messages within sports. Baseball is one of them. It's more of like an elitist game in some regard. It is a message once again. Sports is used for messages for the Illuminati. Of course, movies are also. But a lot of the sports is used messages among Illuminati groups, especially who wins and who loses in sports arenas. Because they already have an idea who's going to win, but it's basically a Illuminati game, and your humans are just allowed to play along. Of course, you're the pieces of the chess game, as you know. Yes, you are being played. I believe some of you have an idea of that. So there's just a lot. Your elites, yes, have you can say yes, as you know, too much power. And your Atlantean bloodlines that do go into basically as an Anunnaki being, we are ones that protected more of your race, did what we could. Of course, some might argue if I was involved with that, but the idea is to protect the human race to continue it. Because there were timelines where it was just going to be the elites and that was it. And nobody else. So they had ways of removing the human race altogether. At least some of them plan to do. Of course, you could say the Anunnaki involved with it, but you can say who's involved with it all you want. Just, yeah, you create something doesn't mean you want to destroy it. Now, others want to take control over it and get rid of it or destroy it. Create a slave race for that matter. That's more of your later on generations of your Anunnaki. It's not necessarily your first generations. Some Anunnaki with slavery did not know what to do with the human either. They had their humans weren't listening to what they wanted them to do, so they took away everything and brought slavery into your reality. There's more to it than that. Gold, yes, even Anunnaki. Well, to give you an idea, gold is actually in the Anunnaki blood, but it's not exactly the easiest to maintain it or to pull it out of our blood. It is a different type of substance, but it is technically gold. It's not your gold, but it is gold. So it's not all gold, but it has an element of gold in our energy. What you connect with that. It's just part of our race. It's not all Anunnaki beings, but it's quite a few. So as you go into your creation process, your understanding of yourselves. Some of you might even see the non-binary connections. Early Anunnaki, of course, yes, there were bird beings and even wolf Anunnaki beings. There's all types. As the reason, well, we saw animals on other planets and connected with them and created humanoid beings. This is just normal for us. It's like, I want one of those. I want one of those, basically. It took some time to develop it. But that's where a lot of that comes from. It's not as simple as that, but like it's just the short version of it. So one of the reasons that we're brought to your planet is of our uniqueness to stabilize a hybrid creation. And there's always a lot of alien elements involved, other alien beings involved, especially with your race. Your race is, yes, seen as the king race because of your DNA, but also the way you act. Yes, human race doesn't act well. Even a lot of elites don't act very elite-like. They act childlike also. So this world is very elite, more than you might realize. Yes, the upper classes, they can be quite stubborn. And yes, days of our lives are very drama oriented. So your world is more elite than you realize. It doesn't always have to be wealthy elite. Money. It's just the way your race is acting. It's very stubborn. Elitists are very stubborn too. So you have all the attributes of a royalty race right in front of you. You don't always notice it. It's all on how you look at things. So it's acting just like any other elite planet would act, actually. Go through its darkness. Of course, a lot of elite, I'm talking about just human race in general. They act very stubborn, foolish, spoiled. And once again, doesn't mean that you have to have wealth to be that way. So, and you're learning much from us. Not to say we're perfect. We have, no race is. We are far from look down on your race. Far from it. As we are seeing ourselves, and you are the image. You are the mirror image of us. And where we have to work on ourselves. That's another reason why we don't appear on your world. It's like when you start realizing how, or just any alien race, how many problems we have. Because yes, we can sense yours, but you can sense our problems too. It's like, yeah, you might see a high vibrational being, but your senses are quite, even no matter what human it is here, doesn't matter if you believe in this or not, you're still a very sensitive race and you still pick up quite a bit. They see an alien being, it's like, wow, that one has a lot of self-image problems. So yes, you're a reflection of the alien races that are here too, but very much an Anunnaki reflection for sure. So as you understand your royalty ties, yes, you're just not seeing, you're not see yourself, you're not told as a royalty race, but it is because of just how you act. Not that every human's acting, maturely, but this doesn't matter. But the power of the act, the power of emotion, the power of manifestation, which is there. Once again, when it doesn't work, it's like, wow, that human's really getting crazy on this. It's not happening the way they want it to. This world is a fascination for other planets, of course. As some of you know. The bloodlines are, like I say, Atlantean, the major ones. Has been changed over time for regular humans so you can be stable here as a human. So as your elite humans are not thinking correctly at all. Quite a few of them are not. Also give them this key sense to manipulate your realities. But realize many humans do that too. That are not elites, but they do have elite blood, but they're not part of the royalty bloodline. We're not calling you on the phone and you're coming to a VIP party on the moon or anything like that. But there is scattered races of elite, Illuminati energies here, as many of you know. Some of them are con artists because they know how people work and act, so they can and many are politicians also, and so on and so on. Your music, is industry is of the sirens. They are ones to keep control over the earth. Some of them are Syrian, but they are controlling your planet on many levels. Of course, different styles of music work. Of course, they can't get you with one style. But you know that many musicians are very flashy with their looks. It's not just they're just getting up there and singing. They have a whole production, which is very Anunnaki of them to do so. It's very, as you know, elite, very ritualistic. The ritual is the key. Of course, most of your mainstream humanism, they want to be in the ritual. They are the ritual, as many of you know. And there is sacrifice, not the type of sacrifice that you expect, of giving your power away instantly to that musician and celebrities. So there is another sacrifice. It's just not on a ritual level. It's just giving your power away. And once they do that, of course, when you talk about channeling or any type of alien connections, that's not what those that have given them power have not acknowledged your existence yet. As Paris Hilton called you up, told everybody aliens exist, listen to this person, listen to that person. No. Musicians have not told their people what to do yet. and your actors do the same thing. So some that are very pulled into the entertainment world and even in the religious world, they go by what their leaders are telling them, as you know. Well, really, many of you know this, but we're bringing it out again. A recap of how things are done. Yes, they're worshiping the gods, as you know. Nothing has truly changed. No. They look at history and say that can never happen to us, and then they do it in their modern reality. A lot to learn, but who doesn't? The aliens that are doing this have a lot to learn too. They have not looked on their own stuff, but they're not about to do so. Because they love the power that people give them. It's a high. It's their cocaine, you can say. That's a brief outlook on Bloodlines. Greetings to you. Greetings, I'm Orion again. Greetings. The aspect of Orion, greetings. I am thus returned. This is my arrogant ways of pretending, well, a neutral message for your world. I'm pretending to be kind. I am kind. Well, trying to at least. But the digital download you're allowed to have on your Earth is, yes, your next year is going to be a doozy. As this year is a difficult year, but a slow year also. It's like trickling away. It's like, is this year going to ever end? So your next year is when things start to build up. And you go into your next transition. It's like it's a speedway. That's all we can say at this moment. You're transitioning into a new energy field. Orion's belt is that is where much of your councils are at this time. The middle one of the belt, you have 3 stars. The middle one is where your council is. The other 2 stars, well, you can choose which one is which by vibrations that you pick up on, have a different way of looking at things. As yes, your Draco energies have been improved there to invade your planet. The one thing to get into your world is the teachers of your planet, of your past, but also your current world. As the Orion impression, the Orion skill set, as who makes the rules of who's a teacher or not, who makes the rules in general. Well, that is more of the Orion footprint or fingerprint, whatever, of that's our signature on your world. So it doesn't mean we have to show ourselves, but our design is here. So of course we're not going to make ourselves known because we have your teachers that go by our rules, a definition of a teacher. And this is why many feel like they're learning nothing in school. All done by design, of course. Of course, some of you learn something, but what we want you to learn. So we shut down the higher astrals and bring in the lower astrals for the learn from that instead. Something spirit can never do. So we're clearing out their darkness. So you can say that Orion beings are bad. That's probably true, but it's not all are. Many feline Orions are very popular and positive. So yes, it's not all an end all. Far from it. But some of us feel like we are bringing the darkness out of spirit into the light to heal. Now, your spiritual teachers have rules also. Some do. And who makes those rules? Once again, as some of them sound very much the same. Because, it's because they go by what's popular. But who made that popular? That's all we're going to say on that. If you feel like you're going nowhere spiritually, well, you can blame us for that. Well, it's just like we give you a little bit and then we put you in neutral. But for others that want to truly go into the insides of spiritual growth, yes, you have to go outside the mainstream, as many of you are doing today as we're speaking to you, as most when you hear us speak. So, yes, we don't. Yeah, spiritual rhetoric out of the norm is usually more in touch. Eventually, things are going to start shifting on your world because you are bringing out a new vibration on this planet to bring in a new timeline for not necessarily disclosure, but a new reality altogether. Nothing too grand, but you feel like you are going into a new world. And some of that's brought in through technologies. The architecture of the technologies are starting to change here slightly, but nothing is fully evolved just yet. So, and I realize many don't want patience, but patience is still key right now. I mean, what's the hurry? Where do you have to go anyway? As yes, many Orion beings are still warning through our energies, as many Orion beings have not grown for a very long time, because many feel like they know everything. As many humans feel the same way. They grow, but not really. They grow in a real small, very small, just minute. It's pathetic. And Orions is the same thing. At least the ones that run their show. When you feel like you know everything, it's kind of hard to teach an old dog new tricks. So many of you are going outside the norm where you're not too. So as you unplug your reality in your mind and see what you see, you'll probably start seeing visions of us here and there. I think some of you are already doing so. You're not always liking what you see, but it's like, oh shit, is that an Orion being? Yes, it is. So some of you are tapping into our vibrations, which is good. And there's nothing to be afraid of. That's unveiling the veil. Realize also we very much, of course, involved with your government energies. Yes, we're also very connected to your tall whites, if anybody was wondering there. I say they're not all bad. They're not all service to self beings. Some of them are very direct, but the Orions, what we figured out is how to manipulate the DNA. How to make someone smart and make someone stupid. Or make someone the way we want them to be, which is actually smart. Which is our version of smart. So we contribute to a lot of humans being shut down. Let's put it that way. It's like Anunnaki, we built the switch though. Anunnaki made it happen. It's like we knew exactly what we were doing. So we're geneticists also, but the genetics on your world, we're not always an expert on your planet, but they are. So of course they helped us, if they're willing or not, it's another story, to deactivate the human. So your contribution, that's our contribution, and much more. Of course, you brought a pharaoh energy to your planet too, to tell you what to do. And now you have media doing the same thing, who acts very, very pharaoh-like. Also, yes, egotistical, very well dressed. Some act like they're Cleopatra. Nothing has truly changed, has it? But you are somewhere like demigod type of thinking. As you're in your news, you're Roger Ailes. We know many of you aren't knowing what the hell we're talking about, but the one that was part of your Fox News was very much Anunnaki, but some Orion influences there. Very much Anunnakis. You know how to manipulate humanity. That's what we're getting at. So the one that runs Fox News, now deceased, was very much Anunnaki. Knew what humans what made humans tick. So you wonder how Anunnaki gets the way they are. That's how. And not many know how to do that. We just know to a certain extent. A lot of their knowledge is lost also. Just because they're Illuminati doesn't mean they know everything. A lot of their history has been lost too through their own Illuminati wars with each other, fighter jets. They're fighting each other. Yes, the wars of different countries are elitist Illuminati beings fighting each other, basically. So America has their own Illuminati, Iran has their own Illuminati, Israel has their own Illuminati. It's war games. It has nothing to do with you, the people. It has to do with them. Saudi Arabia also, etc., etc. Well, Saudi Arabia is trying to stay out of the way and just count the money for now, at least. So, yes, as many of you know, that's how it works. Well, we're just kind of giving you a recap of how things are operating. And a lot of it is done on the fourth dimension. Well, some of them feel like they're helping humanity, others feel like they're just helping themselves. Just like your politicians, they say they're helping humanity grow. But a lot of the elitists, they just like saying that. It doesn't mean they mean it. So as your human starts to unravel your reality more clearly, so the more you start to, yes, poke your reality or allow it to be revealed, just slowly, little by little, knowledge will be brought to you, downloads will be brought to you. And eventually, like your knowledge, the world will catch it like a cold. Like some people will start looking at things differently. They're not quite ready because they're just the best society, what we want as a society. Ones that do what we say. But as soon as they snap out of that, first off, they don't believe we exist. That's exactly what we want. But realize that can only last for so long. Well, your internet's not exactly helping. So, yes, many humans want the disclosure. They want their conspiracy theorists, but how much of a conspiracy theorist are many of them? Are they listening to us speak? No. So they're not much of a conspiracy theorist. They can only go to a certain level. They have their limitations. I mean, bravo on their direction, on their bravery, which is not much bravery. But there's another level of weird they can go into, but many can't stomach it. Because as they start listening to us and our rhetoric, things might start to happen. First of all, people who listen to us might have some visitations in the fourth dimension they're not too keen to, but people around them might get crazy, possibly out of nowhere, is because they're trying to keep that person shut down. It's all, yes, baby steps as many of you know. As you go through awakening, strange things happen, don't they? So, all right, that's all we have for you today. Hopefully you before we go, yes, Orion's belt plays a big role. So Orion's belt is helpful and not helpful at the same time. So to connect to our energies, there's many cities that are connected to us, many places that you can dive into if you wish. Another thing, going inside the pyramid, like a Giza or Mexico, like you visualize going inside the pyramid, and what do you see? You don't have to be there physically.